Yo, what's going on YouTube and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's Kevin Forte. So today we're back continuing our season preview videos. We're taking a look at the San Jose Sharks today. The Sharks should be a better team than they were last season. It was a rough year for the Sharks. They finished dead last in the NHL standings and they're hoping to improve those numbers. I think they will. You really can't go much further down than where the Sharks did. They have a couple really good additions to this team, especially up front. They have a really nice, I think, underrated addition to the blue line. So we're going to discuss some of that stuff here today. So we're going to start off with going over the forwards because I think, the storyline for the Sharks going into this season is some of the additions this summer to add some scoring to this team. Not only scoring depth, but like guys that can score like primary goal scorers for the San Jose Sharks. So basically a completely basically 50% of the forward group is changed. 50% of the top six is changed, and the first three centers on this team are new acquisitions. So this is going to be an interesting team compared to what we saw last year. So let's start off with the top line: William Eklund, Macklin Celebrini, and Tyler Toffoli. I think that's a good, solid line. I think Celebrini and Toffoli, that's going to be a really good sort of dynamo this year. And then obviously William Eklund, he's a player. So, this is one of those things where now you're starting to see the depth really come in for the Sharks because some of the guys that were on the top line last year are starting to slide down with these guys coming into the lineup. So that's where Mikael Granlund and Fabian Zetterlund, they're probably going to be centered on the second line with Will Smith. So Will Smith will come in. He's going to play in the NHL. I really think this is another player that the Sharks are really high on for all the right reasons. He's a really good hockey player, so they're expecting big things from him. So now you've got that combination of Celebrini and Smith down the middle. The third line, you got Thomas Bordeleau, Alex Wenberg, and Luke Kunin. Bordeleau is a pretty good prospect. He's projected to be a top six winger at the NHL level at some point. So hoping to see him do well. Alex Wenberg, he's been kind of bouncing around the last couple years, so he'll be coming over to play on the Sharks' third line, probably alongside Luke Kunin. Fourth line, we're going to see someone come back. So Barclay Goodrow comes back to the San Jose Sharks. Kind of a weird circumstance how he got there, but Goodrow is a member of the Sharks. Once again, Nico Sturm's going to center that fourth line with Ty Dellandrea. Honestly, I think that's a pretty improved bottom six compared to what the Sharks had last year. I would say a lot of improvements on that forward group. Defense looks similar, but there are a couple of additions. So we have Mario Ferraro and Cody Ceci as the top pair. I think Mario Ferraro is looking for a better season. He had a little bit of a down year last year compared to what we expected. Cody Ceci had a great season in Edmonton, but that's a cap dump by the Oilers. So we'll see how much Cody Ceci can really do on the top pair with a team like the San Jose Sharks. Jake Walman, I think, was one of the best acquisitions that the Sharks made this summer. Bringing him in from the Detroit Red Wings, he's projected to play with Jan Ruda. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for Jake Walman. I think his game was better because he played with Mo Seider, but he was also the complementary piece, I think, to what made Mo Seider so good. So I don't know how much I think this is one that I might look back and say I was silly on, but Jake Walman was really able to revitalize his career in Detroit. Is he able to keep that up with different players around him? That's going to really be the question there. Henry Thurn and then Mark Edward Vlasic. Really the only name in the past 5 years that's been consistently on this lineup is Vlasic. So he comes back again. He'll probably be on the third pair. The Sharks, it seems like at this point, they're going to be looking at some of the younger defensemen who are going to come in eventually. But this team, definitely on the back end, is still very much there's a lot of rebuilding. They're still at cement level and foundation level for this defense as you know it's really patchwork. So the forward group, I think, for the Sharks is much improved. It's going to be better this season than what we've seen from the Sharks. But like I said, that defense is really, there's a lot missing in terms of skill and speed on this defense. So that will account for what we talk about in a minute. Also, guys that are on the IR, Matt Benning and Logan Couture, probably won't see either of those guys. there's a chance we could see Couture from what I've been hearing, but I don't think so. Let me know if you guys have any information on the latest on Couture, because it seems like as the season comes in, we're probably going to get more clarity on whether Couture is going to play or not this year. Goaltending, it's got to be kind of be a little weird, right? Because this is definitely not the tandem that I was kind of expecting. But we've got Mackenzie Blackwood as the starter with Yaroslav Askarov as the backup. So Askarov obviously comes over from the Preds, highly regarded prospect, played the last couple years with the Milwaukee Admirals of the American Hockey League and had a lot of success. He's infamous for after he won a game, he used the crossbar, placed it on the ground, and used it to do push-ups. That was Yaroslav Askarov. So he definitely brings a little bit of character, a little bit of attitude and energy, and for better or for worse, I think that could really blend in well for the Sharks. So I think that's one that's going to be an interesting experiment. We'll see how Askarov does in San Jose. But I think that's honestly going to be the factor here for the Sharks. As much as we're talking about an experiment and things like that, I think they need solid goaltending. And Blackwood has had an up and down career, so he comes in and you're hoping for something, but the reality is it's going to end up being Askarov, who probably is going to get the lion's share of this start. So maybe we see a little bit more of Blackwood in the beginning. And as Askarov gets more starts under his belt, it's going to end up becoming the Yaroslav Askarov show. And this is going to end up being his net to kind of protect. With that said, no, I think it's pretty safe to assume the Sharks are probably not making the playoffs this year. I think a lot of things would have to go right for the Sharks in terms of just teams around them not doing well. I think the defense, just looking at that lineup, it's just really weak. And I hate to say that, but it's just the reality. The reality is this defense and this is without injuries, pending Matt Benning. Now, that really isn't that big of a piece coming back. So for the Sharks, the forwards, you're going to start to see the young guys like Celebrini and Smith and Eklund continue to develop. Toffoli came in. Like, those are good moves. That's something that's going to help the Sharks get back to the playoffs, but there's just not enough around that to make them a complementary, a fully functioning on all cylinders type of team. So with that said, my prediction is the Sharks will finish the season with 76 points. It's going to be a rough year for the Sharks. They're a team, like I said, that's not expected to be a playoff team, not really expected to be in the conversation of making the playoffs. And, at the end of the day, that's kind of how things are. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of the Sharks? Probably going to be a rough year, but I think, considering where they were last year, they finished with, 59 points? If they finish this year with 76, that's much improved from where they were this time last year. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you again next time.